episode 704. Welcome, the homie Nick.
What's going on, guys? What's up, MJ?
Finally.
Yep. There's nothing like that intro, man. I was ready to start dancing.
I mean, you got to feel loose going into these, you know?
Yep.
It's the only way to do the trap talk is getting loose, and because it's always a fun time. And again, very excited for tonight because, man, I don't know. Listen, it's hard to really know who's out there unless you're really tapped in into certain communities within the hobby. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was halfway in, halfway out with the monitors. Like I tried to like really dive in, but like I'm just so in the clouds with the chondros. But I love the monitors, and so when I kind of stopped looking at who was who in the hobby when it came to monitors, and then you just landed right in front of me. I think it was Uncle Mike. So again, shout out to Uncle Mike, bro. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Uncle Mike.
I don't think there's anyone out there I could think of that makes my heart warm and makes me feel like, dude, this guy is a fucking OG and only just wants good for people. Am I right? Have you only gotten that vibe from Uncle Mike? Like,
couldn't have said it any better, man. He only wants to help. That's all it is.
And you know, he's even made me want to become a better person. And you know, I can tell Uncle Mike's not, maybe at some point maybe wasn't so calm and chill, and maybe that's why he doesn't want to go there with people. But dude, he makes me want to just be more nice to people. I swear to God. But anyways, like he was the first person to kind of make me look at what you had going on, and then I realized, like, dude, like first and foremost, your Tinley booth, right? Like that what you made from scratch, from what I understand, right?
I had to try to not one up Uncle Mike, but fill his shoes. I had to get in that place and really set the precedent of what was going on. So I put in like 3 months of building that thing.
Yeah, and you know, listen, you got to be a certain individual just to even work with monitors. I feel like, you know, and it's just like retics and everything else. Like, there's a certain individual for each species. Some are good at doing it all, and I respect those people. That's not me. I can't do it all. I get too like caught into the moments of so many things. But for you, dude, like I feel like you were born to do this. And I know this goes back. You're in your early 30s, or how old are you right now?
31.
31, dude. And you're a new father, from what I understand.
Yeah. He's only 3 months old. It's crazy, man. Changes your whole life.
Yeah, dude.
I don't need to tell you, but it's not.
Yeah, but dude, honestly, you get it. You know, not a lot of people get it when you mention that, but it's a life-changing thing. But let's kind of go let's go pre-fatherhood. Let's go you at the level you're at now. And you know, from what I understand, you were obsessed with this as a kid.
Right. Yeah, my dad was actually in the hobby. He didn't really know much about the community, but it was a lot different back then, I guess. So he just kept a lot of stuff, and he's the one that really got me into animals in general. I grew up in a house with monkeys and all kinds of crazy stuff running around. So this was kind of just natural for me. But once I got into the reptile game and I started going to shows and stuff, it was just done after that. I got the bug and I couldn't stop.
Yeah. Your pops, how old is your pops, if you don't mind me asking?
He's about Uncle Mike's age. I think he's 2 years younger.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And so just as a kid, you just knew he was into it, and that always drew your attention. But like, was your dad into big monitors like how you were?
Honestly, he was into chameleons. He did the chameleons and like the iguanas. Monitors was kind of my thing, but now we both keep monitors, so almost exclusively.
Yeah, but chameleons is like completely department. Like
different.
It's like its own entity, right? Like chameleons are. And it's not for everyone either. Like you got people who are good at certain areas, and they go to chameleons and go, fuck this shit, you know? That's pretty cool that your dad was dialed in on the chameleons, and then you kind of discovered the whole monitor side of things, which I always ask, like, what was the footprint there? Like, how did you start looking at the bigger monitors? And
honestly, the thing that really caught me was how smart they were. That's what everybody says. But besides that, I'm like kind of somebody that chases a challenge with everything. And when I started, there wasn't a lot of people breeding monitors, maybe Uncle Mike and like John Adragna. John was a big mentor to me in the early days too. So it was really those two guys. I mean, I'm sure there was other ones that I didn't really know of, but I wanted to tackle what I thought was the hardest thing. So I really dove into monitors because of that, because breeding is really my thing. It's always kind of been my thing. That's my end of the hobby that I really enjoy. And it's opened doors for me, like podcasting and stuff like that. But breeding was like my staple.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. That's like, I try to remember, not everyone's here for breeding. It's not everyone, but for me, from when I look at somebody, I always assume you're here to breed, right? Because if I'm here, I'll tell you that much. You know, like I like creating life. Like creating life is the coolest, funnest thing ever. And we got stuff from like snakes, like all the way from ball pythons, stuff that comes out of an egg, stuff that comes live birth. You know what I mean? But seeing that shit hits different. And one thing I have not experienced yet, which you've got a lot of experience under, another reason why we're going to dive into so much of your projects, is like seeing a fucking monitor hatch. Like
crazy.
That, I mean, other than a croc, maybe a little bit more prehistoric, but even then, like, this is the same level. Like, it's
And again, honestly, that's one of my goals one day. Like, I want crocodilians is my other obsession. That's why I moved to where I live now.
Yeah.
But you can only bite off so much at once. And I want to get a bigger place. My place is kind of maxed.
Wow. Okay. And on the topic of that, where do you live? Remind me.
Pennsylvania. I'm in Milford, Pennsylvania. Yep.
The laws there are pretty good though, right? Like
amazing. The best in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard PA was a pretty good state to keep reptiles at. Now you do battle the winters and shit like that. So are you from PA originally? Where you from?
I grew up in Jersey. I actually grew up close to the city. And then as I got older, the high school I was supposed to go to, crazy enough, there was 3 stabbings the year before I was supposed to go to high school. So my parents were like, we're getting out of here. Yeah. And I moved up north.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, obviously when you have kids and you start to look at like the school districts in the area, and, you know, I love my home, you know, we've done a lot of work to it, you know, but if you look at my neighbors, you're like, whoa, fucking, not everyone takes care of their house or, you know, even has the means. Like, you know, we're in a tough time right now. So not a lot of people even have money to spend on their stuff in San Diego, but then the school districts, like I'm in a rough area and I'm just like, and I grew up, I was a badass kid, dude. Like I went to every middle school, I got kicked out. So I went to some like rich middle schools, but I went to some ghetto ones too. And I'd rather have my kid not go to a ghetto middle school or like it's because, dude, they'll see some shit, which is kind of good, but also bad. Like, I don't know. It just scares me to think of that stuff, which
it's funny you say that because we're looking at daycares and we went to like a ghetto one yesterday. And I was like, nope. And now he's going to a ritzy one. I want better for him than I saw, but I had a pretty crazy childhood and teenage years too. And then I guess when I got older, life kind of happened and kind of humbled me a bit. And I chilled out. Kind of like what you were saying with Uncle Mike. I had a crazy childhood and teenage years and then just mellowed out. And I kind of just want to do my own thing now and have a horse farm and hang out with my animals.
Yeah. And, you know, that's kind of like the circle of, you know, manhood, you know, obviously there's a moment where you're just not, you know, first and foremost, you think you know it all, but then your behavior is like so over the top, which has been majority of me to my 30s, bro. I'm up to my 40s. And I would say if I hit 40, I started like realizing you don't need to do so much, like relax. Okay. And I just come from a place, bro. Like I'm from an era where if you say something, you got to fucking own up to it. And you can't get away with that. Like if you're going to tell me something, you're going to have to, there's consequences, but there's no such thing as consequences anymore. It's all people can say whatever the fuck they want to say, and you can't do nothing about it. It's just like,
and if you even say something, you're a jerk off. So you got to just let it out and walk away. It's crazy.
Yeah, but also it's like it's also a good sign to just like reserve the energy. I still have a lot of energy, but God, wasting energy at my age is not worth it, you know? So, but like, I feel like that's
you turn your energy into what you do. And I feel like I do the same thing. I'm very much the same where the energy is used in a different way. And my obsessions before going out and doing stupid things became staying home and working on my animals and building other things. And I mean, I run 2 other businesses besides the reptiles. Like reptiles is my full-time thing. So I am constantly moving, which I think keeps me busy, which I need.
And I gotta tell you, I love being home, dude. I love it so much. Like I have to remind myself, dude, it's okay to leave. Like go see family. I'll fucking hermit, bro. Like I won't talk to nobody. Like I'll focus on my family. And next thing you know, the whole year goes by. And I'm just like, oh, I got all these chondros. And I'm like, my dad's like, you haven't talked to me in 8 months. And I'm like, oh, and I never got that long. But you know, like time just goes by. And so it is healthy to like break away. But dude, this shit's so therapeutic, bro. Like I love it. Like I don't know what else to say. And when I love something, I overuse it big time.
Me too.
But I just this is the thing to overuse because look at the results. And you know the results. Like look what's happening, you know?
That's a beauty about this. I mean, I guess it's anything, but with this, definitely you put in the time, you're going to see the results. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it seems like the more time I put in, the more happens. But the problem is it's exactly what you said. Like I went to Tinley and I was about to, like 2 days before, I was about to pack up and go by myself. And I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, can you just come? Just bring Jay. Let's go. Yeah. And I didn't want to leave him. I just wanted him to come. We had a great time.
So. Right. Because that would have probably dampened the time is you sitting there. And that's what's hard for me to travel, bro, is like, I'll go a day, and then that next day I'm like, fuck, I want my kid, I want my wife, and like, but it's just something that will come with time. But what was I gonna mention? I was gonna ask you something.
Congrats to you too, bro. I mean, I know you got another one on the way. That's awesome,
bro. Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility she could be like, yo, my water just broke, so it's about to go down. Like,
if you just take off, I'll know what happened.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, kind of going back to as far as, well, first and foremost, man, it's crazy that you have two different businesses, right?
Yeah, I have a car dealership with my dad that I've done since I was 13.
Wow.
That was something that, like, he was like, you're coming to work with me. It wasn't like an option, but I ended up loving it. And now we flip houses too on the side.
So that's where your personality comes from. You got sales in your blood. You got background of sales. And what's crazy is you don't even come off as a salesman, but you just know how to talk. Like, you know how to, you're like easy to speak to. You know what I mean?
That means a lot, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't look at myself that way. I honestly, I was in speech classes growing up, and I had a big problem with talking in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of this isn't easy for me, but it's a challenge, just like breeding. So I force myself to do it.
But that's probably what your dad saw and made your ass go do what you did, because he probably knew it was going to help you.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I have family members that are the same as me that are completely introverted. So he's the reason. He saw it and he forced me to do this, which, I mean, my dad is my best friend. He's always there with me for everything. So without him, I wouldn't be doing any of this.
Yeah. And again, that's coming out of your mouth with a kid now, it hits different. Like, and even me being a father, I get chills listening to that, because our goal someday is to have our kids say this about us, 100%. And again,
it's a huge fear of mine too, being a new father, that he's not gonna be the same that I am. So it's a whole new perspective on life. Everything you do affects them.
Yeah, but what's crazy is when you're a present father, it's on you. Like you have the molding capability, which you're gonna see, bro. At that age, holy shit, they become a version of you.
Yeah.
So if you know what I mean, like I notice there's times where in the midst of something I get hot headed, and like you'll pick up that hot headed fucking attitude right away.
That's
too.
crazy.
Like,
see, I haven't got to that yet. He's still so small, so that's nuts.
Bro. It goes quick, as they say. It really does. But fatherhood is the best. Shout out to Uncle Mike. That there's no other thing to it. But
Uncle Mike's like my second father. I have two.
A lot of the things that we do, if not everything, costs money, bro. Like as much as we love what we do, you have to constantly be putting into what we're doing. So a lot of that capital came from the car sales
car sales. And honestly, I collected a lot of cars when I was a kid.
Wow.
And I restored cars. So to get into this, I got rid of that. So I cashed out on my cars, which was very hard, especially because my dad and I built one from the ground up. With his friend that actually passed. So it was the three of us, and it meant a lot to me. But that was my most expensive car, and I had to move on.
Wow. Yeah. But what's crazy, you could always you're so young that you never know where this will take you. Where you have someone doing some of this work, where you have time to go back into that hobby. Like I feel like something like that never leaves you. You know what I mean?
And honestly, it sounds crazy, but I have the VIN number, all that stuff of that car that I let go of, and I hope one day I could track it down again. But
that was smart.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on the topic of cars. My favorite car growing up was my dad's Bronco. So my dad had I think it was a 93 Eddie Bauer Bronco. It was like a forest green. It had a lift on it. And that was like my childhood car. And then my mom and dad got a divorce, and my mom won that divorce. And I was like, it was really depressing for me. But I remember I was like, I want that fucking car. I want that Bronco someday again, really, really bad. And I'm always on the hunt looking for them. Sometimes I see them, but they're usually all fucking beat up and shit.
Yeah, but it's so old. They get so rusty. I mean, not out by you, but by me, rust is crazy. They don't last very long.
Right. So, but yeah, cars, man, it's always been a kind of, again, just one day, maybe gray at the head. I need another hobby. I want a garage with some fucking my favorite cars that I could just work on.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. I guess I'm so happy that I do reptiles on the side, because if I did it every day, I might not have the same passion. Like keeping stuff every day, because the cars, in all honesty, like I used to build stuff and I'd be burnt out, and I got burnt out. So I do it every day. I work on cars. I'm a mechanic on the side, so I like build cars like for fun with my dad. But I'm so happy it's not a full-time thing, because I wouldn't have that same drive that I do with reptiles.
Okay, but if I were to kind of just like from the outside looking in, seeing everything that you're doing, you could swear that you get burnt out doing reptiles. But I don't think you do, because you're so obsessed.
No, never.
Right?
Yeah. It's all I think about all day long. At work, I'm thinking about like, oh, if I do this, maybe these will breed. And that's as I'm working on cars, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, but dude, it's so true what that it means, because people ask me too, like, how do you do the podcast and the animals, and like, how do you keep that up? And I'm like, I feel like I'm just obsessed with it. Like, it's the air I breathe. It's kind of like asking how you brush your teeth every night and morning. It's just do it. You know what I mean? But like, again, like, I know it keeps me happy, and this shit keeps me happy, dude. And I think finding happiness in a time like today, like, is so important, which I think most of the world is lacking happiness. It sucks. It's depressing, but like, we found it, you know?
Yeah. And I treat this as a business, even though I don't make money. Because monitors is crazy expensive. And to build my building cost, in all honesty, like $40,000 to put up my building with everything. So I'm still paying that off. So I don't make any money, but Uncle Mike said it the best the other day. He said, the thing I do get out of it isn't money. It's like therapy. Like, this is peace of mind, is doing something like this. So
and you're creating, and you're creating a legit legacy for yourself. Like, because, you know, one thing I have this chip on my shoulder about people who come in who give me that energy that they're in a hurry for something. Like, they're trying to like, and like, I'm like, what's your hurry, dude? Like, this is a lifetime thing. Like, and whenever I get that vibe of somebody in a rush, I kind of don't want nothing to do with them, because I feel like you're going to come in and come right out. I
was just going to say that. I think that's a lot of the newbies. Like, they want to get everything. They want to do everything, but it's so short lived, and that's how you burn yourself out. I'm not going to lie. I hit that for a long time too. When I first started, I'd grab anything, because you want everything when you first get in, and I'd grab everything, and it turned into like a flipping kind of thing where I'd buy things cheap and resell them. And morally, it started getting to me, like seeing animals go in and out. And then once I caught wind of the breeding and I felt like I was going somewhere with it, I totally pushed all that aside and never went back.
Yeah, I mean, but also, like, dude, oh my God, I didn't come into this with any money at all. Like, I was at a point in my life where things were changing. Like, the fast money I used to make was all over. But then I got to a point where I was getting a bunch of snakes, mainly ball pythons, but then there was even some chondros at times where I would get them, establish them, realize like, oh, maybe this isn't going to work out, and I would like flip them. And I hate using that word flip, but that's what I was doing. And back then in 2017, 2018, like, ball pythons were still going, like, they were trying to get crazy again. And so I was able to like make profit off stuff I bought on a regular basis for the first 2 to 3 years that was going right back into chondros, basically. So any money I ever made was going right back into something else, exactly what you just mentioned. Because I feel like with you, Nick, you're probably notorious for that, because I see you post rare shit all the time. And I'm like, dude, I just think, I'm like, you got a 1 point something of that? That's not cheap. But you know,
that's what I do. I always, even when I was, I guess, flipping, I was always on the hunt for the coolest and best thing. I wanted to be known for that then. Now I want to be known for the quality of my babies. But like, your mind changes, I guess.
You grow up.
We grow up. And I was making money then on this. Now I'm not. So I gave up making money to do what I love in the same hobby. But
you're investing.
It's a lot cooler doing it this way. It's a lot more fun and rewarding.
You're your own customer. You know, which is good. And I feel like that's another thing that, like, if you are going to breed, that's fine to have ideas to sell, but you should be breeding something where you want to hoard it. Like, it's like, you want the first dibs. You're not thinking about who's going to buy what. No, you're like, no, I'm thinking about what I want first. And then, you know, disperse it out to who you want. And what's crazy is, if you're working with the right species, you wouldn't have to look far to sell it, because you're going to have people in your community that are going to want to buy that from you.
Definitely.
And I think Uncle Mike has probably the most respect for return customer base, right? People know what they're going to get when they go through Uncle Mike. And I think that's obviously the goal of yours at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Not only making quality animals, but doing quality customer service and taking care of people, because that's what creates lifers in this hobby.
And people know what they come to when they go to you. They know what they're going to get, and it's never a question. It's on my logo. It says quality over everything, basically. And that's what I want. I want recurring customers. I want people to look at me in a certain way, look at my animals as like the best you could possibly get, and that's what I look at when I buy the adults. Is like, I will search until I find what I want. And
so I kind of want to get into, you know, overall, like from your experience bringing stuff in, I mean, I know you've dealt with some rough stuff, you know, because not everything is going to come in perfect, right? But what's the quarantine process for you? Especially when you're getting something rare, but you're not too sure where the fuck it came from, but you know it's here.
Yep.
How do you start from there?
So it really depends on if it's actually coming into the country or if it's like captive bred. If captive bred, there's not really a crazy quarantine. We're talking like a couple days a week. But wild caught stuff, I leave for like a month. And honestly, I take a lot of stuff to my vet. So if it checks out with the vet, it's still in quarantine, but for less time. So I'd say like 3-4 weeks. I have a whole separate room. I actually have 2 buildings. Well, one's my parents' basement and then a building outside of their house. Because my stuff isn't even here yet. I have a whole building, but it's empty.
Okay.
So I technically have 3 places, but one's empty.
How far are your animals from you? How far is that?
They're like 40 minutes.
Okay, and that's where you were living before.
Yeah. Well, I lived there for only like I've moved 9 times in my life. So this was like, I think I was like 23 and I was like, had 1 foot out the door and I just stayed at my parents for like 2 months. So I never really lived there long term, but that's where I was. They're in New Jersey. So it's right over the border. Yeah.
So how far are you from getting all the animals over to your new place?
We're looking for a place, but like, just like animals. I'm super picky. So I want like 50 acres and I want to build a giant building and I want it to be a place that people can come to. This is probably a few years out, but I'm trying to buy the house first and then I still have a place to keep the animals while I build something.
Yeah. Kind of going back to like you taking in some animals, like, obviously I feel like I have a good eye on when a chondro comes in, like what to look for.
Yeah.
Like, obviously if there's respiratory issues or mites or whatever, what are some of the things you look for? Like when it comes to like seeing if a monitor is healthy or not, fresh import or whatever, from anybody, what are you looking for?
First thing I personally look for is at the tail base, the hips and eyes. Like tail base will tell you a lot. If they're looking lethargic, if they got a parasite going on, their hips are going to be exposed. That tail base is going to be real thin. And then their eyes will tell you everything too. If they're real sunken in, they're not doing good. But if everything's all swollen out and everything's all puffed out, you're in good shape. I don't really deal with a lot of, as crazy as it sounds, I don't really deal with a lot of import stuff anymore. I think the most recent import I've dealt with is the OBOR, the torch monitors. And they were perfect when I got them. There wasn't a big quarantine for them. They all went to the vet, all checked out with flying colors, and were set up and trying to breed for the last year, but I haven't seen any action yet.
How many species of monitors do you currently keep at this point?
Oof. It's a great question. Probably, I'd say like 20, a little shy maybe.
Wow. And so as far as the water monitors species goes, do you have all of them or are you missing some or what?
I dove heavy into the water monitors and then it seemed to be like kind of mainstream. So I kind of wanted to get off of that track and do my own thing. And I got into a lot of indicus. So I have a lot of indicus now. I didn't get out of water monitors completely, but I didn't like the whole, like Uncle Mike, I didn't like the whole morph thing and all that stuff. So I only have black dragons, gurus, coming eye, nucallis, and sandmars as water monitors. And then I have a lot more indicus now than anything.
I'm so sorry, man. This is going to be probably a stupid question to all the monitor fucking lovers out there, but can you tell me what the indicus is or what that means?
No, it's okay. I always say indicus, and people probably like he has mangroves because indicus, Varanus indicus is mangroves, and then there's the indicus complex. I never say complex. I just always say indicus. But the indicus complex, there's like the quince, the peach throats, spinnies, all of those like semi-arboreal monitors that spend like most of their time like halfway up the tree. They're not fully in the canopy like a tree monitor or a croc monitor. They're like semi-arboreal, so they'll come down and chase things on the ground and nest on the ground for what we know. But they're kind of like a niche that like not a lot of people have bred, like almost all of them across the board. So it's a challenge. It's more of a challenge than water monitors. So that's why I dove into it.
Yeah. And it's funny you say like, there was a time where you had certain ambitions with certain water monitor species, but you saw how much they were being flooded to some of the people in the hobby, which is good, but it was like when I see that much stuff being worked, I'm like, what's the point or where's the rarity at? Like, I mean,
it goes back to that moral thing. It's like if I'm putting out hundreds of water monitors a year and seeing 2 of them, that affects me.
For sure. 100%. Exactly. And so, okay, you know, the Black Dragons, you know, I want to say that was probably the very first monitor I really wanted to work with. And then when I actually went over and saw a collection with some, I noticed how fucking, dude, if you don't give some of these things the attention they need, or if you don't work with them, they're fucking bulldogs, dude. They will fuck you up. And I've seen an aggressive male in an enclosure, like almost rocking the whole enclosure just by tail whipping it. And I'm just like, I don't want nothing to do with this. Like, you know what I mean? But it also like sunk in, like how many people are meant to work with something like this, and not a lot. Like not a lot.
Like you said it perfectly. How many people are meant to work with them? I think it's a lot to do with the people and how they keep them. I don't think it's really the animal. Like I've had people send me many wooded monitors, like, dude, this thing's a killer, and I get it, and it's just like any other wooded monitor I kept. So it's a lot to do with how people set them up too.
Yeah, totally. And what have you learned over the years with husbandry? You know, because I noticed that's something you can't really. I don't know. You tell me. Are you able to get away with some things with some species? Are some more burlier than the others? Or what?
I think with that, it's like it's never a complete like learning experience. Like I still learn all the time with husbandry, but when I started, I'm not going to name names, but there was a guy saying to keep them in these tight locker-like enclosures, and you'll keep them super social. Keep them in smaller enclosures, they'll do better. So I did the opposite, and I've always been giant enclosures, and I want to go bigger. Like my biggest enclosure now that I'm actually building for my Black Dragon is 16 by 19. Dude, nice. So I want to go bigger than that, even for like croc monitors, stuff like that. So, and it seems to me that the bigger you keep them, the more relaxed they are, and the more social they are.
Dude, 100%. Oh my God. You know, just, you know, with my small, I mean, I don't want to say small amount of time. I mean, I had lace monitors for 5 years. But when they got to that point of adulthood, like if I wasn't letting them out to roam on a daily basis, they were like, they weren't happy. Like I could just see, like they were like, dude, you got to give me more space in this. And so, and a lace monitor, like you know, after like having a bunch of episodes on them and realizing like people who done research of them in the wild, bro, they cover a lot of fucking space.
They never stop moving.
And they never stop moving until it's time to fucking go to bed after a meal or whatever. But I was just like, dude, it was just like the retics. Like I was told, oh yeah, you know, mainlands or whatever, you keep them in 8 foot, whatever. And I did that. And I still was like, dude, this is not right. Like this is a big snake. And I know if I took it out, well, I always knew whenever I took my big retics out, they wouldn't stop moving and they would go everywhere. And I'm like, dude, like you can't do that in this 8 foot enclosure.
That stuff drives me crazy.
But then it did that with the lace monitors, and it sucked to let them go, bro. Like I was kind of depressed for a little bit, just because like that was, you know, I feel like one thing about this hobby is like you should always work with something that kind of gives you a kind of a breath of fresh air, like a little break. And that was, even though they were the most disgusting fucking reptile I've ever kept in my entire life, even though they made my entire room reek anytime they took a shit, they were still my fucking like my lace monitors. And, you know, I had people tell me I wasn't meant to keep lace monitors. I shouldn't do it. And so to overcome all those assholes and show them that I was, but also to respect those dickheads, they weren't kidding, because lace monitor is not a fucking entry level fucking monitor, dude.
You went straight to the top with those.
But dude, I had John and Alex from Sim Container, had Uncle Mike. Like I was close by, like, you know, I had fucking Brian fucking Waterloo. You know what I mean? Waterloo did a lot of help for me. You know what I mean? So I was like, dude, I'm in a good place. But even then, bro, nothing beats experience. Like once you have the fuckers in front of you. Oh, I have a video which maybe I should cue it up. But when I tried pairing Mac Dre and Alice, dude, they fucking battled.
Really?
Like, yeah, they chest to chest battle. They were like hugging, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then I had people telling me, "Oh, you have 2 males," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then what turns out, my female was just a lot more bigger than the male.
Gotcha.
Because the female was chasing down the male, and the male was like, "Oh my god!" And so Uncle Mike was like, "Dude, MJ," he's like, "Don't pair them yet. Like, get this fucking thing bigger." And so did Brian. Brian Water was like, "MJ, go give it 1 more year of feeding this fucker, and then do it again." And then I did it again. It was a whole another story. Mac was chasing her.
That's
and
awesome.
I was like, oh my God. But bro,
I've had that happen a bunch of times. And honestly, it's just like you said, it switches in a blink of an eye. Like I had them go chest to chest, pulled them out for a few hours, introduced them differently, and then they'll breed. It could be the slightest thing that's just off.
And with pairing snakes, yeah, there's chemistry, and obviously if you pair the same sex, you'll see shit. But you could just kind of just pair and forget sometimes with snakes, and like, all right, I'll check on you guys the next night. Monitors, man, you just never know, bro. Like, you got to have cameras, or your ass better be there, just making sure shit's gonna go down okay.
And if you don't know what you're doing, it could happen like that. I told a story the other day on ours that a peach throat of mine. The peach throats are insanely hard to breed. Uncle Mike's the only other person to do it. And I think he did it 17 years ago, something like that.
Wow.
But they're really aggressive. So my female just grabbed I put my male in, and I'm like, oh, this is just going to be just like water monitors. He walked up the branch right to her. She grabbed him by the neck and threw him off the ledge. He lasted 3 seconds. And there's nothing I could do. I couldn't even react fast enough.
Did he live?
No.
He died?
Lost him. Yep.
Just from that fight?
She broke his neck and threw him off the ledge.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah. That was the first male ever. It's not a story that you want to tell, but I mean, it happens. It's it's part of it. Yep.
I've heard that story. I've heard that story with lace monitors of fucking laces getting killed, or dude, I remember, dude, I don't know if you know Blake Wilson. Blakey.
Yeah, I know Blake. Yeah,
dude, he probably scarred my mind from this, but he posted I forget what monitor it was. I think it was a sulfur eating the male. Like he walked into where it was literally just his feet sticking out of the mouth.
Holy crap.
And I'm like, what am I looking at? And he's like, oh yeah, she got the male. And I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it. And
that's crazy. I've never had that. That was the worst experience I've ever had. It was the peach throats. And I mean, it happened. I went to grab and he was already gone. She just threw him off like the movie 300 or something off the top ledge.
Damn, dude. Yeah. Okay, real quick, I got to ask you, what do you think it is about the peach throat monitors that makes it so difficult? Just because there are not enough of them here, or what would be your thought on that?
I think it's kind of along that line. I mean, all the indicas are very hard. The females are highly aggressive towards males if they're not perfectly cycled, and there's a lot to get them to cycle. I don't really have a definitive answer there. There's just so much to them that's harder than a water monitor, where water monitors will just kind of, if you have them kept right, they'll kind of breed. I don't want to say there's no skill behind it, but there's a lot less. And it's not even skill. It's just how we have them set up. But there's a lot more to having indicas. And indicas, a lot of people want to keep them terrestrial, but I always kept them semi-arboreal because that's what they are. So my enclosures are 8 foot tall by 5 foot wide. So they go floor to ceiling, so they can get that 120 degrees all the way down to like 70, 75. And I think that's crucial for them. Like right now is my indicus breeding season. Like everything is starting to go into cycle because we're dropping temps here.
Yeah. And, going back to husbandry, one of the things I underestimated was like the importance of like what you should provide in a big enclosure. One of them that was important that I felt like, at least with lace monitors, is multiple basking options. Like not just having one bulb in the corner, like having different areas throughout the enclosure. And again, shout out to Waterloo. I remember going to his place, dude, with the man, and he had like, obviously he hand fucking chiseled out all the walls, but was making ledges with like, and he's like told me like, MJ, if you're gonna make these enclosures, you got to put slants, and you got to, and I'm like, because it made sense, like the way they like to bask to make sure their body evenly gets heat and how it digests, bro. That
females, that's huge they take the weight off their chest. All the eggs will sit up here and they can't breathe, so they belly hang. That's across the board with all monitors.
Yeah, and so you obviously like basking and having that is important for success with breeding. But let's talk about feeding, man, because I feel like one of the biggest topics right now in the hobby monitor category wise is diet. And again, I want to fucking give Mike Stefani his flowers right now, because one of the things I started off my lace monitors on were these little turkey meatballs. I would make these turkey meatballs that had some calcium in it with some egg. And, when they were babies, I thought it was a great supplemental diet. That's not all I was giving them. I was giving them like, full prey item mice. But I realized after a while feeding them these turkey balls, those were the nastiest shits I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it was diarrhea. It was like, it was almost piss and shit. It was all brown. It was fucking disgusting, and it smelled right.
Terrible.
And I remember complaining about it on a story one time where I posted, and Uncle Mike's like, "Hey, yeah, we'll stop fucking feeding it ground turkey." And I'm like, I was like, whatever. Typical MJ took it the wrong way, and I was like, whatever, Uncle Mike, fuck, leave me alone, dude. I got this. And then, sure enough, dude, when I was just like, because it was a whole process, and I'm like, dude, this kind of sucks taking out the turkey and like, it's fun maybe the first year, but okay, every day fucking making meatballs, bro, get the fuck out of here. So I got tired of it, and I was like, let me just stick to bird prey items because they were bigger. I didn't want to be on a rodent diet. And man, when I was giving them just quail, dude, they were shitting a full shit, and I'm like, wow, look at that. And so I was like, dude, what was going on with this ground turkey stuff?
Well, dude, it's crazy because I mean, you could tell what a keeper you are that you pick up on that. Where most people don't. They'll just keep cleaning up. Like, man, monitors are nasty, but they're really, I mean, they're gross. I'm not gonna lie, but they're not like hornbill or like toucan or something like that gross where they're spraying shit. That's not normal,
right?
And it's very bad to feed turkey because so many people do that. And we just did this on our podcast, Uncle Mike and my new podcast. We had Andrew Llewellyn on. He's a biologist, and he really dove deep into why turkey is so bad. And turkey is actually so very well known for cross contamination, and they get a lot of diseases and stuff from it, and they will actually go septic and go into shock. So we dove more like really deep into that, and I can't speak on it because I mean, I'm just a monitor keeper, and I have my ways, and I have my ways for a reason. But if you wanted to know more from a biologist, watch ours, and we go for 3.5 hours about it.
Is that out yet, or is it about to drop?
It's dropping tomorrow. I'll have it out by tomorrow.
So that's gonna be episode 4.
Yep, episode 4. It's 3.5 hours long. So get some popcorn and sit down because it's a long one, but it's worth it. We really dove heavily into nutrition.
And let's take a quick pause, guys. If you're not already, please head over, or you're already at YouTube. What am I talking about? But go to Monitor Brains and subscribe to their YouTube channel. Because I will say, bro, like being as a podcaster as long as I have, it's so refreshing having someone new come with the experience. Oh my God. Because like going back to people just want to be somebody without the experience nowadays, fucking ridiculous. And there's, I don't know how many podcasters are left. Some of them are falling off like the cliffside, but dude, I love that you are in the game because you got so much to bring to the table. So anyways, guys.
Thank you, bro. I mean, it means a lot that you're shouting me out and doing it means the world to me because in all honesty, after doing the 3 episodes that I've done, this is all new to me. I have a newfound respect for what you do. It's crazy. It's so much to learn, and I know nothing yet, but I'm still learning. And I mean, that first day, it means a lot because you reached out to me and you were giving me tips right off the bat. So
yeah.
Thank you.
No, 100%, man. No, but yeah, let's. What were we talking about right now? Oh yeah, we're talking about
diet.
Yes. Let's get back to the diet. So, okay. With that being said, what's your stance? Obviously, like, let's say I'm a friend of yours. I want to get into monitors, and I'm going to ask you about like feeding. Like, what would you say to somebody with your experience in this game? Would you say the best diet would be for a larger monitor species?
For a larger monitor species, definitely quail. I have 2 chest freezers full of quail. That's my staple in my diet. And there's a reason for that. I didn't just one day like, hey, you know what? I'm going to feed quail and nothing else because I'm going to have a quail supplier. And if I push quail, then I'm going to make more money. But there's nothing behind it besides I've had a lot of trial and error. I've lost a lot of animals to things like you're saying with using turkey or using those things. They all led to one thing. I had a bad diet. And that's how I actually met Uncle Mike, was all those kind of questions.
Wait, hold on, Nick. So you've actually lost animals due to poor diets?
I've lost personally a lot of animals. There's a road to get me here. It wasn't just I want to feed quail. I had a lot of mixed steaks, and I still have them. They're not from my keeping, but they're from other people that feed drumsticks and all this crazy stuff. Grocery store diet, as we say it. That's why I feed mostly quail. I supplement rodents to my gravid females or cycling females. But rodents isn't a huge staple either because you get really obese fat animals from feeding just rodents.
Uncle Mike has said on not only on Trap Talk, but even on your, I think on one, I forgot what episode was on yours, that like it almost looks lazy when you are just devoted to a grocery diet, but also like you might be working more than you have to as well, you would say, right? Like maybe they don't look at it as being lazy, but just maybe something more convenient. I guess convenient could be lazy, but I don't think enough people like I didn't at that time understand the severity of feeding something processed food to a monitor, mainly because they don't see any issue with this yet. yet. Yeah.
And especially if you're a breeder, this is where this comes into play a lot. Not that it doesn't have an effect on not a breeder, but on me, like I just got a female black dragon, and she was 5 years old. She was a 5-foot black dragon kept in a 6-foot box. So she didn't have a lot of space to move around. And he was just feeding her chicken neck after chicken neck after chicken neck for all those years. So when I got her, put her on a new fresh diet of just quail, I had her checked by my vet. They noticed that she had a very thin bones because of the improper diet she was getting. So she had a broken foot that had been repaired, but it didn't heal right. So it was fused a little to the right. So there's a lot more to this than people see at face value. And then from me putting in the proper diet through her and trying to get her to start a cycle, she ended up getting egg bound and dying. This is all within 4 weeks of me having her, all because of how somebody kept her for 5 years. So there's a lot more to this that people don't understand. Like even her bone structure was messed up because she didn't have the proper diet.
Yeah, and from what I understand too, like it's hard to get a monitor to bounce back from a bad diet. Like if they're on a bad diet for a long time and you get them to switch, they don't always switch and they die.
No, I'm dealing with that with a guru I just got at Tinley. Actually, he was, and this is a different side of it. He was morbidly obese from eating a lot. I'm suspecting a lot of rodents. So trying to get that weight off him is like next to impossible. So he was paired because I wanted to see if he would still attempt to breed. And he attempts to breed for about 5 seconds. And then he gets tired and he lays down. And the female will walk right past him. And she's cycling. Her belly's all distended. And she's dragging it on the ground like she's cycling. Another male that was in shape would be breeding to her instantaneously. But he can't even catch her because he's so obese from having a bad diet.
I don't know if this was something Uncle Mike used to do, but there were items that he would bring from the store and feed to his animals. Like I think there were snails, Uncle Mike, you did at one point, or and what about those items? Like what's your take on like shrimp or certain like, you know,
shrimp, like that? Shrimp isn't really a good one. With fish, a lot of people are like, because we try to, Uncle Mike and I are trying to educate people. So the way we say it is no grocery store fish, because people will just go buy quail or tilapia. I mean, not quail, I'm sorry, shrimp or tilapia and feed it to their monitors. When you can't do that, it has to be fresh and clean and not processed, because all that fish is processed. So you need to go either catch your own unless you have a clean stream by you or something like that, or get it from somebody that you know is farming the proper way. You can't just go to any grocery store and grab it.
So on this topic, what's the diet look like for your animals whenever it's feed day, or how often are you feeding, and are you at your collection every day? Or
I'm at my collection every day, but I only feed Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I try to give that, and that's different than Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike feeds small meals every day. I do bigger meals, not huge meals, 3 times a week. So I give them a little like what is that called? Space in between feeding.
Yeah,
a little fasting is what I was fasting period in between feeding. But on Mondays we do a lot of raw eggs and stuff. Wednesday we do quail, and then Friday we do rodents and quail. Rodents is mostly for the females. And I don't supplement a lot of fish. If I do, it's silver sides or something that's super clean that I knew where it came from, because that's a big thing that people like. I say quail, and you got to be super careful where you get these quail from. I had a guy for years telling me that they were domestic quail that were in the country that he was farming himself. I got word from somebody else that wasn't true, and that he was getting these quail from China. So imagine the process of those quail coming over here, getting thawed out. Then they're sitting in the sun in this box in a parking lot. They're sitting in a hot truck. You don't know what kind of parasite load or bacteria load is in those quail. So you want to stay away from anything that's not domestic. Now I have, and that's a mistake that I made. We all make mistakes, but that's how I found out, because I started having problems with my monitors, and I'm like, I'm doing everything right. What's going on here? And that was the problem. So now I have a quail guy. He's about 2 hours from me. He fills up a van and brings it directly to me. And I know what he feeds his monitors. I've seen his farm. And that's the best way to do it, is you got to know where this stuff comes from.
Yeah. And I'm going to take this moment to shout my sponsor, Blake Exotic Quails, man. Blake's the man. I've been to his facility. I've seen his whole entire operation on how he's breeding all these. So just on this topic, it is so crucial, like Nick said, to know where your any prey items coming from. And there is a lot of middleman type businesses happening right now where they're making it seem like they're breeding this shit, but they're not. And I just wouldn't want to mess with that. So again, since on the topic of quail, head over to Blake Exotic Feeders, link in the description below. Shout out to Blake. But yeah, man, like, dude, there is things I was seeing. What's crazy is, man, like there was people losing their own snakes feeding rodents.
Yep.
That they were supposedly the rodents from China were getting blamed, but I heard it was laboratory mice here that were being resold.
Yeah,
and
I heard that too.
Those were the ones that were killing people's snakes.
Yeah.
And again,
I was ordering from that same person, so I had issues around the same time that everybody else was.
Dude, wild. You know what I'm saying? And oh man, like I just don't know what I would do if I came in with a rack full of dead snakes. I would lose my fucking mind. I really would.
And I guess it's being young and dumb that I didn't really. I'm like, it's the same thing. It's a rodent. It's the same as that guy's rodent, but it's not. You have to know where the stuff comes from. Get a relationship with your feed guy. And I have that with the silver sides. I have that with the quail rodents. I mean, most of it comes directly from him. It's Brendan Klein. That's his name. He's in Pennsylvania. For anybody that's near me, he's a great guy. Anything else I know where, like, I have worms that I have to get from my earless monitors and my shinnies, but I know where all the stuff comes from. You got to be super careful in picking your feed people. How
many babies do you have right now?
I have 3 in total.
Three babies?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those are the black dragons, or what are they?
No, I thought you were talking about the earless. I have 3 baby earless.
No, yeah, but you're hatching a bunch of shit all the time, aren't you? Like, so like in general, how many babies do you have?
Right now, I only have the 2 peach throats that are available and the 2 earless. But I have a ton of holdbacks. Like this year, I held back a lot of babies
that are like yearlings, right? They're not.
Yeah, they're all yearlings.
Now, are they on a different schedule than your adults? Like, are they?
Everything's on the same thing. Even my babies are on that same 3 time a week schedule. If I notice anything's varying, like different, because I'm there every day, and that's the thing I got to say too is it's not just me, because it's a lot. I don't even know if I could do it by myself. I have my wife that stops there. She's a full-time. She runs 3 hospitals, so caretaking is in her blood. She loves doing this, and she's helped me since day one. She's actually the one that made me get back into this, because when I met her, I was not at the best point in my life. It was kind of when I was going off the deep end from prior situations, and I kind of got out of animals for a little while. And she was like, "You talk about this all the time. Why are you not doing it?" So I got back into it, and ever since she's been my right-hand man. And then I have my dad and my brothers too. So I got a lot of hands in the pot helping me. It's my thing, and I have a lot of help. That's
respect, man. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like, man, you do a lot. Like, I don't know how you could do this by yourself. You know what I mean? Especially monitors. Like monitors, is fucking a lot of work. Like it's a lot of work.
Crazy. And the funny part is, like, my wife's a trooper. She was literally pregnant. We went to the hospital the same day we were doing reptiles. She was helping me do water changes, pregnant with her water broken. Like, she's something else. She's a different breed.
Dude, seriously, shout out to her, man.
Yep. She's
now kind of going back to, what you feel has been best raising up monitors from out of the egg. I got this impression that it was good to feed them almost every day if you can. You don't think that's good?
I don't think it's bad. I think it's kind of either or, whatever suits you. If you can feed every day a small meal like Uncle Mike does, that's great. It's really depending on your lifestyle and kind of how you do it. I don't think it's a bad thing to feed every day. I don't think it's a bad thing to feed every other day.
Now, do you have babies eating insects as well as rodents, or
almost everything starts on insects, on crickets? They almost have to, because nothing else really fits in their mouth at that size unless you're cutting up pinkies or quail really, really small. But my thing is I start them on crickets for the first 2 weeks, and then I try to break them into pinkies and quail, because the quicker you get them on that stuff, the easier it is.
Going back to the earless monitors, which fuck, dude, that's what a species, man. Like that thing's out of a fairy tale movie. You know what I mean? But you've had 2 clutches, or you've had okay,
I had 2 clutches.
And let's kind of talk about it. What was the approach breeding these? Not a lot of people have had success, obviously. I can only think of you and one other person. So what was the approach, and how did you have success with that?
So, in all honesty, when I first got them, I was highly intimidated, and I was highly empty in my pocket because they were crazy expensive when they first were showing up around. So when I got them, I set them up. I already had I had a cage custom built for them. I think it's 4x3x3. It was a glass enclosure that I had somebody build for me, and it was 1/3 land, 2/3 water. So I was already pre-ready for them to get there. Once they got there, I was nervous out of my mind. I never really kept anything like that before. So I just kind of set them up and let them be. Once I got the rhythm with them, which is pretty easy, they're a lot more intimidating than they are to keep. They're actually very simple to keep. They just really eat night crawlers, and they hide during the day and they come out at night. You don't really see them too much. So if you're looking for something that's really visual, that you're seeing like a tree monitor or something all the time, that might not be the species for you, but they are, when you do see them, it's like seeing a unicorn. They are so cool. They do their own weird little things that make them interesting. But in all honesty, as to breeding them, it's kind of like everything else. I kind of just set them up properly. I didn't do anything special. My first time I actually made a giant mistake, and I let the water drop because they're super, super temperature regulated. They want 81 degrees and nothing else.
So the water, you shoot for 81 in the water all the time?
Yep. 81 in the water, 81 on land. So this time of year, I turn on heaters over the land side, and I have a heater underneath the land. So it's 81 coming from both sides. And then the water, I now have a heated filter in there. But that's where I made my mistake the first time, because she went to get that 81 degrees, and the water was actually doing better than the land. And I had that backwards. The water was doing better than the land. So the water was 81 degrees. So she went to drop those eggs in the water instead of laying them on land. And she actually drowned in the whole clutch. So now I have my land heated. So it's heated from the bottom. So she'll dig down and lay her eggs in there.
So it's the reason why she put them in the water, because that was her preferred temperature.
Exactly. She thought she was doing the right thing. I had that backwards in the beginning, but she thought she was doing the right thing by laying them in the water. And that's where the clutch went to demise. But
yeah,
I figured it out, and it took me a little bit. I'm like, why the hell would you do that? I thought I had everything right. And I temp gunned the land, and it said 78. I'm like,
you know, I never got that far with the lace monitors other than just kind of pairing them up. But tree monitors, I got 3 tree monitor clutches. The thing was, my incubator was just not where it had to be, which that was the reason why I had a lot of issues with the chondros. But I was able to like get the clutches, get good eggs, but then realize how important nesting is, dude. And if you don't have that nesting shit down, two things will happen, or maybe a couple more, but for sure they're either going to fucking lay those eggs wherever they want, and more likely they're going to be bad by the time you find them, or they're not going to let go of those eggs. They're just going to hold on to them and die.
And honestly, that happens more than the other one. If they just dump them, you missed a bullet. You really did.
Right.
But they're going to, most of the time, they become egg bound.
Yes. And that's what I was like, oh my God. Like, so this isn't just a fucking cool, let's get them up to age and pair them up. Like, you gotta be dialed in. And so another thing, I was like, dude, I got humbled. I was like, dude, you're you know, and mind you, I think the first clutch is where she laid them out everywhere, and I was like panicking in a sense. And the next two, she laid them in the nest box. But it was also just something where you're constantly figuring out, where do they want to nest? Like where do they want to be? Because they don't always drop at the same place. And so that was my biggest, like, and maybe if I would have obviously held on to them longer, I would have figured it out at some point. But the nesting, man, that's
nesting is huge. I tell that to all my friends that are just getting in. I'm like, if you're getting a female, that lay box needs to be set up before you even get the female.
Even if you don't want to breed, like nesting is important. Yeah.
And once they get in the rhythm and they know where it is, most of the time they find that same spot every single time. But the problem is a lot of people don't set up the lay boxes. And I deal with that more often than not, because I don't need to tell you, you probably get the same thing. I get my phone blown up all the time with questions, and most of the time it's over nesting or sexing monitors. And nesting every time, it's like, dude, you need to heat your nest box. It needs to be bigger than the animal. Some people try to put this tiny little thing and think it's going to work. But that's a huge topic, that heating a lay box, I think, is essential, because if there's any fluctuation, you're going to lose that female.
Yeah, dude, they want something consistent, and that's not going to change, and it has to be that sweet spot. And so and also too, like, people think they should go smaller than they need. No, dude, the bigger the better. You know, the thing is, like, can you fit a bigger nest box in your enclosure? and can you do the temp, or can you get the temps down? And like, dude, like the guys that I know, like Brian Susan and other motherfuckers who got the nesting down, they got heating on the sides, on the bottom. They got the whole nest box is heated to their liking. You know what I mean?
And take any mistakes out of the equation. Just do everything you can. It costs money, but that's why monitors is so damn expensive. I'd argue that they're not the most expensive, because I mean, I have enclosures with whole cage nesting because that's what Uncle Mike did. And I used to use a lot of lay boxes, I'll be honest. And I was having a little more mistakes with the Indicus than the water monitors. Water monitors seem to like a lay box, where Indicus like that whole cage nesting. And some of those enclosures, I have over $1,000 in just the lay box, or like the whole cage nesting, like different heat panels in different places and thermostats and all that stuff. But I mean, that's kind of part of the monitor game. Is you need to be innovative. You need to have a lot of money to put towards this, because it's not cheap.
And you got to be a thinker, dude.
Yeah. Like, you need to be super creative.
You can't be lazy. And I want to say, like, bro, like I have lazy tendencies in areas.
Me too.
But like I refuse to be a fucking piece of shit monitor keeper. Like, and that's what made me not be so lazy. But also I'm like, dude, this is like, are you sure you want to do this forever? Like, with everything else? And again, if it came down, like if I had another room, like if I had something to dedicate the monitors to, I would still have them, but I don't. And I don't want my monitors with these fucking snakes or any snakes. They need to be away. Like they need their own thing. And so I will revisit the monitor, that whole monitor dream I had at some point when I have the facility. I on my own facility.
And I mean, dude, you're killing it with the snakes this year. If you put monitors in there, it'd probably spike your temps and mess everything up, because they need to be so damn hot. That's the thing.
No, and when I had the laces, that room was cooked so much. Like it came down to where I'm like, dude, I can't even give you guys basking because how hot it is on this side. Like, I'm gonna give you 3 hour basking and that's it. I was giving them 8 hours, and then my room would be like 90, and I'm like, dude, this is not working out. And so again, doing too much, I feel like that's it.
Doing too much. That's a huge problem that I feel like we all have. Is I had to dial back because I was trying to do too much, and then when you do too much, everything slacks. You're not doing what you want breeding. Your keeping isn't the best. So you got to learn where your happy medium is and just stay there. But I feel like I'm there now. Like I'm almost, I was saying this to Uncle Mike and he laughs at me because he's like, I know how you are. But I'm almost to the point where I'm at like a closed collection where I don't think I'm looking to get anything else in. And I'm trying to like just work with what I got. I'm happy with what I'm at, where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And in like 10 years, you might have a bunch of different shit. You don't know. But right now you feel like you're finding your happy medium. And I think that also comes with maturity in the hobby. Is like, you kind of go crazy, but then you kind of figure out like what's really waking me up out of bed. Like, what is it that really just fucking, what's worth my time? Like, because when you have a kid and you have a family, bro, you're taking time away from them to do this shit. So it has to be worth it. Like, and so that's why I instantly turned the switch. And again, I want to shout one of my mentors, Mark Bailey, who like when I had scrubs, pop ones, bro, I think I had over 16 species at one point with all the monitors. He would always come over, walk around like, why do you have this? Like, I'm just curious. He would just ask like, what's your plan with this? And I'd be like, I'm going to breed it in 4 years. But I'm like, 4 years, dude, I ain't got time for that, bro. Like, so I just had, I think it was ego too, because I know a lot of people were like, well, you got so much, you shouldn't do that. And like hearing that makes me want to do it. Like when someone tells me I can't do it, I really want to do it. But also like, again, it's more like, dude, it's a lot. And you should, and I want to be perfect at the shit I keep. It's hard to be perfect at everything when there's fucking 20 different species under your roof. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it takes time. And so, anyways, I think that's I think over the last year is when or a little bit longer now is when I realized, dude, I don't need to do so much. I have enough I need to work on and focus on. And I feel like ever since I did that, I look at the year I had with the chondros. Like, you know what I mean? So
I know you're like me, where we both wear many hats and do a lot of different things. With keeping, I don't think that's a good thing. I think you should really focus and hone in on one thing, because that's when you're going to take it to the next level. And I think that's when I was younger. I got that a lot. Like I was in the fauna days and all that stuff online. I got a lot of hate when I first started because I didn't know what I was doing, but nobody really guided me. And I think that's where the community has gotten really great. For the most part, is we do try to help each other. I mean, shit, that's why Mike and I started this podcast, is just to help people. Where like there was, when I started, it was a lot of gatekeepers and nobody wanted to help this young guy that's coming in and trying to figure it out. Like I use chicken wire and all that stuff, but I was 13. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool where we're going. And I think this could be really beneficial if we all work together instead of trying to fight each other all the time.
And it's crazy is like, not that you asked for this responsibility, but bro, that's why your DMs are being blown up, is because you are now that guy people go to for advice. And
it's stressful. I'm not going to lie. Like with the jobs, with a baby coming home and then have to answer 20 messages. It's like, oh man, I don't know if I feel like doing this today, but I always make sure I take time to do it.
It wears you out, but you know what you're doing is it helps. Like it's accomplishing the whole mission of why you're even doing this.
Yeah. And I try to be super truthful. I don't know everything. And I'll tell somebody straight up, I don't know. Like maybe go to this person, maybe go to that person. People ask me about like, I don't know, tree monitors. I never really kept tree monitors like that. So I'll send them to like Cody or somebody that's done it before and does it regularly. But on tree monitors, my newest venture that I want to talk about is the Crocs. And I'm really excited to really put some time in with them. That was something I've been pushing off for so long. Because of what a responsibility it is.
Croc monitors?
Yeah. But I freaking love them, man. They are my newest obsession.
Superior. Yeah. I've seen, dude, I have had close encounters with Komodos, okay? And I think Komodos are amazing. But if you were to ask me what the number one king monitor is out there, because I love arboreal shit. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Brahms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available Green Tree Python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 Green Tree Python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the Green Tree Python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the Green Tree Python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, it's Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Cheers. Dude, Croc monitor. And I've been to Reptilandia. Have you been to Reptilandia yet?
I haven't yet. I'm dying to go.
Oh my God. So there's a Croc monitor named Monster. Yep. Okay. And dude, mind you, it's a 3-story
insane
enclosure. Yep. And this fucking thing literally dropped all the way down from the very, very top perch down into the water belly first to come out into glass. And I was like, Holy shit. Like, imagine if it was like, if it jumped on you. Like, if you're just walking the wild, bro, and those razor sharp fucking teeth, their claws, the predator, their fucking raptor eyes, the you know what I mean?
Like, they're next level, man. They're just a watch. I could sit there and just watch them all day. Their intelligence is insane.
It's insane. Okay. Which we were going to dive into those croc monitor. Actually, let's fucking get into it now. I don't even know. I'm already pumped up. So, okay. So obviously not something you jump into, right? Like I even knew after the lace monitors, I was like, what's even crazier than a lace is a croc monitor, right? Mainly just because their capabilities and how smart they are. That's the smartest monitor from what I know. From what I know.
But that's the thing with them is they're so smart that they get a bad rap. A lot of people are like, oh, they're aggressive, they'll charge you. And
they're smart.
They're very smart. And if you're calm when I have to change my whole attitude. Like yesterday, I had a stressful day of work, blah, blah, blah. And I went in there and I had to I'm trying to set up a different kind of lay box with them because in all honesty, I had a female that was gravid and she had viable eggs and she couldn't find a place to nest that she liked. She had plenty of places to nest, but she wasn't happy. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong here? She has a 12-foot lay box. I can't get any crazier than that. Like, that's crazy. So I was talking with Cody Kopp and I was watching a bunch of videos on like their environment. And I think what they do is they lay under mangrove trees, like under these big roots that come out. So when they're laying, they feel comfortable airborne from any predators up top. Because if you watch a croc, they're always looking up. They're very aware of their surroundings. So I think they'll feel totally secure under something. So I was in there building this like platform kind of deck thing that you can go underneath and lay these eggs when the time comes. And I'm in there on my belly. And she was so curious. She came down and I'm on my belly underneath this deck, screwing it together. And she's looking like this at me underneath. And I'm like, please don't bite me. And I had to calm myself down. And once I did, she just watched me. I mean, we were 2 feet from each other and it could have been disastrous, but I was calm and she was calm.
Dude, it's funny you say that because like, dude, fucking Mac, Dre, and Alice were like, they would knock bulbs off their fucking basking. Like I would be in there fixing something. And I'll forget one time I was like having a hard time. I was sweating and I'm trying to screw this thing back in.
Many times.
And then I just feel I feel like the stuck in my ear and I'm like, what is that? And then I feel Mac Dre's claw and I'm like, and he's like, his nose is in my ear. And I'm like, please don't bite my ear. Please don't bite my ear. I'll never forget. Like I went from stressing out, trying to get this fucking goddamn, I forget what I was installing. I went from like worrying about that to like a sense of calmness. Now I'm like
trying to talk yourself down.
Like you're not, don't get bit. Just don't get bit. And so luckily Mac Dre just like went by my face and left. And I was like, all right, I'm calling it a day.
my wife's standing outside the enclosure. She's going, Nick. I'm like, stop. We're fine. And I'm talking to her. I'm like, you're all right. You're fine. Everything's going to be okay. And meanwhile, I'm talking myself down. She can't understand me. I was talking myself down.
You're just thinking like, what would a trip to the hospital be like right now?
Oh my God.
No, there it is.
But that's the thing is I'm underneath this thing and she was 5 feet above me. She came to me and like, I don't know her that well. I've only had her for like 2 months. So it's cool. They're a different level and you need to be very cautious. What I was doing was semi-irresponsible, but you need to be cautious and aware. And I took that chance myself. I feel comfortable enough with them. It's not my first time keeping them, but it's my first time keeping them like this.
My first time ever looking at croc monitors, like from a private collection, was Tom Crutchfield's. Like, Tom Crutchfield showed off, God, what was it, Bill, or was it Bill and something else?
Yeah, Bill.
I forget.
Huge.
I was like, dude, he's hand feeding him eggs. And that one time happened where he got fucking bit. And I'm like thinking, was he feeding him? And no, dude, he was trying to stop them from fucking each other up. It's like, I guess they were fighting, and I guess he was trying to put a stick in between them, and
misjudged.
It's a misjudge, and just it was like a little nip, and his fucking fingers looked like he put it in a blender, dude. Like, just I'm talking roast beef, and I was like, oh my God.
I think I went there like 2 years after that and held Bill, and the whole time I was thinking about that. The entire time, like profusely sweating. And I wanted to do it because you're in front of Tom Crutchfield. You're in front of a legend. I don't want to look like a bitch. So I picked him up and I'm holding them, and the whole time I'm like, dude, please don't bite me. But dude, Tom's a man. Tom's a great guy. We spent the whole day down there. It was awesome.
That's when, like, I will say, you know, Tom has a history, obviously, like he goes way back, fucking, like I'm talking pioneer days, you know, but you when it comes to somebody who kind of looks like a professional when it comes to working on animals, that's Tom. Like, it's rare to see someone that comfortable.
Zero
like,
fear.
Kevin McCurley is also another one. I will say Kevin's another one where I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be like that. Like I respect they're that comfortable, but dude, like I got some stories, you know, but I don't think I could be that trusting. And I respect that someone is that like bonding with a fucking animal like that. It almost makes me jealous, but
even Tom even more, because I mean he saw what happened, he felt what happened, and he's still that calm, which is even more impressive.
Because he knew why it went. He knew why it happened. Exactly. Like, he knew it wasn't him. It was just a moment. It was kind of like breaking up a fight between two friends, and like boom, you get clocked by accident.
Thing. Exactly.
Fucked up thing. That's all it was, you know. But it's like, how many people are willing to go through such a thing and go right back in that cage and be like, "Hey, we're good," you know? Like
it takes a special person. Special person,
dude, man.
The Crocs are something else. There's something I want to put a lot of focus on this upcoming year. I have sarongs and maruks, so I have two different localities.
What are the differences? Why don't you break that down? Because I'm curious, like what you see different between the two localities.
So when I was younger, I thought that's all there was sarongs and maruks. But if you know Chris Applin, he has a show on your channel. He's a great guy, and I've learned a lot from him and watching him, like all the different localities. So those are the only two that I can get accessibly here. The maruks are very yellow across their whole body. They have smaller oscillations across their back. And sarongs have these giant yellow oscillations. And they have gray up here, up their whole neck and head. But that's really the only difference. If you look at the two of them, the sarongs are a lot darker where the marukis kind of shine gold. But structurally they're the same, but they do look like two different monitors. And I think that's a huge thing that we talk about all the time is keeping locality specific. Because if I were to breed those two, they're neither one anymore. They're not sarong, they're not maruks, they're just mutts, locality wise. So you got to make sure you breed the same thing. And I literally searched forever to try to find both localities and keep them pure because marukis are really hard to find now. So they used to be a lot more easy, but now you see sarongs everywhere. And marukis actually have never been captive bred before, unless Applin did it, but I'm not sure if he's done it yet.
Wow. So so technically if a maruki to a sarong, are you saying they're two different species in a sense? Because
they're just two different localities from two different things, but they look completely different. And I like to treat them like they're two different species. Like they shouldn't be bred together.
Yeah. Okay. So on that topic, like, what's your overall feelings about morphs? You know, because I'm on the I don't know, like morphs is what brought me into this game. But I'm also realizing there's fucking people who take advantage of the morph thing, and they come up like that's why fucking don't ever bring up Super Bells around Brian fucking Waterloo. I'll tell you that much. He'll take you for a long ride on the Super Bell conversation. But like, but he has a point because it's like, what are you trying to fucking? What are you coming out of your ass with this Super Bell shit? So what's your take on morphs? Like, are you like? You know, are you like less is more with them? Or are you open to all of them? Like, what's your take on morphs in general?
My biggest problem, I guess, with morphs is if it works, because like albinos, there's a big problem with them. I saw it firsthand, and that's a big reason why I got out of morphs. Is they don't act the same. They have a problem with laying. There's a lot more than meets the eye with them. There's a lot more internally going on there, and it might be from the person who's breeding them, because all of the albinos in the country are a derivative of one place. And I think there was a lot of shady stuff going on there. But besides the point, it really has to work. And albinos can't see. Albinos, like I said, have a lot of problems. So I think morphs should be very limited. And I think it does the wrong things to the monitor community. I think the people that are chasing morphs might be chasing money and chasing the new biggest thing. And I'm not saying that's everybody, but I think that it comes hand in hand. Because we see all that with ball pythons and everything. Like everybody's always chasing the next thing. I know a guy that traded a Corvette for a pair of ball pythons. So I just don't. I'd hate for that to happen to monitors. I kind of want it to be like everything. There's so many different localities and all that stuff within each species that like you could be occupied for your entire life with how many localities there are. I don't think morphs are really necessary. I understand it, but there's a lot of naturally occurring morphs like Black Dragon. That work and they're beautiful. I don't think we need to have a million different white water monitors.
Yeah, and again, like I remember once I found out about morphs, I thought every reptile was a morph thing. but you know, you got certain sectors of the hobby that it's literally locality driven. And I think I think both are needed, to be honest. Like, you know, shout out to the people who want to be you know, biologists or chemists or fucking figure out the morph thing. I think that's important, but also like keeping shit pure is just as important too.
And that's where it becomes a blurred line, because a lot of the stuff, like, people are doing the albinos, they're breeding, or the Xanthics even, you're breeding Javan to Sumatran. It's two completely different things. One gets 8 foot, one gets 4 to 5 feet. So you don't even know what's going to happen there. And then down the line, that just keeps you, the line gets blurred more and more. So like if there was morphs, like if you want Xanthics and you're breeding Javan to Javan, I guess that doesn't bother me. And I don't have a huge problem with morphs. I think if it keeps people in the community and brings people in, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's a lot worse things that could happen. But I think you just got to be careful and keep everything pure.
What have you noticed currently in the market that's being like misrepresented? Is that happening a lot in the monitor game? Like, are you seeing stuff available and you click on it, you're like, that's not what that is? Like, is that happening?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest one in the last couple of years has been Coming Eye. There's a lot of hybridization going on there, and it honestly got to me so much that I stepped away from Coming Eye. And that was my founder species. Like, that was the first thing I bred. First monitor I fell in love with was a Coming Eye.
Is that what Uncle Mike's thing too? Is it? Okay. Wow. Okay.
So for me to step away, it was kind of almost hurtful. But then I was like, what's a better way to rebut what these people are doing? Because a lot of people were breeding them to like Sumatran and Samarensis and doing all this crazy stuff. So I was like, what's a better way? I'll just double down. And I bought 2 pairs of locality specific monitors, Coming Eye, and I just started breeding them and trying to put more pure stuff out there to kind of weigh the playing field.
Wow. Okay. And how long ago was this when you stepped away from that species?
I'd say about a year ago, and I was breeding them ever since I started. So it just got to me. I mean, Uncle Mike and I were talking about it all the time, and I was seeing, like, I'd get Coming Eye, and me, Waterloo, and Mike saw this one Coming Eye that we were like, wow, that's beautiful. And we got it, and we're looking at it, and we're like, that's not pure Coming Eye. We were all looking at it together, and then we followed the paper trail and found out it was a hybrid. So it almost got us even. It was so close.
What was it put into then? What was it?
That was a Samarensis.
What's that?
Samarensis is another Philippine species. They're both yellow and black, so it's very hard to tell the difference. I always thought Samarensis got bigger, but I'm learning now that there's this guy in Texas, Lawrence Paul, great guy. I actually just got 4 Samarensis from him, again, to try to counteract all that stuff, because Philippine species are my favorite across the board. So I'm doing that to kind of counteract the hybrids too. And his adult breeding pair is only like 3 feet. Wow. So they're very small species.
Do you keep any tricolor monitors?
I do.
Bro, what the fuck? That's
they are wild.
I know, but they're wildly fucking epic too. Yeah, like, but also like not, dude. You want to fuck around and find out type of monitor. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Definitely. And that's the thing too. Is like I kept them in a small Indicus type enclosure that I had before, and I moved them all into water monitor enclosures with less hides and a bigger space, and that whole psycho bouncing off the wall mentality came right down.
Really? Okay. So what was due to what again? I'm sorry. What
put them in a giant enclosure with not a lot of hides. Like I wanted to see, because to breed anything, you got to kind of break that wild mentality and get them to calm down. So that was what I was doing with them, and it's worked so far. I was in the enclosure with them the other day, changing bulbs, like you said. And if I did that when I first got them, I would have got bit.
Dude,
but I got them pretty calm now.
So rest in peace, Forrest Fanning, one of my old good friends, no longer with us. He was the first person to show me tricolor monitors that he kept. He would send me videos, and like, but mind you, there was burrows. Like he had a bunch of shit for them to hide, and they never came out. Whenever they were out, they fucking jammed right back in under there. Yep. And I remember when I finally flew to his place, I was like, where are they? And then you could just hear them breathing. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, dude, holy shit. I was like, this is, and they were wild, I think, also. But I'm like, dude, I remember him showing me pictures, and that's why I was so blown, like the tail base. And I'm like, dude, this thing is insane looking. But imagine where we could go with that monitor. Like, you never. So let me ask you about that. Like, if we talk about a monitor like tricolor that, for the most part, is fucking off the charts, like not calm,
Yep.
You think what would it take to calm something down like that? Like, what do you think? What do you think could happen?
I think captive breeding first and being able to work with babies from the gate.
Has anybody bred tricolors in the United States yet? Wow.
Not across the world. Nobody's ever bred Yuani yet.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know who exactly everybody, but I have a pretty big group of them, and Duraka has a pretty big group of them, Brian Duraka. So we're both trying, and one of us between the two will have it. I've actually had a lot of breeding behavior, but I also had a lot of aggressive situations because they are the nastiest thing to try to breed.
I fucking love these things, bro. Look at
so
that.
Crazy.
Hell, it's all blue.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What's this one's temperament like? Looks mean.
Yeah, he's actually not that bad. That's the one I was talking about. That's in the giant enclosure now.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, look at that thing, dude.
Yeah, that's a female.
Oh my Lord. So you have 2.1 of these?
Yep. I had a lot more than that, but I downsized. I again, you don't need a million pairs to breed something. I picked the best ones, and I kind of gave the other ones to friends.
So what okay, I know a handful of people who've had this species but just failed by them. What do you think it is? Like
breeding is I keep saying breeding. Pairing is very, very hard. Pairing is very challenging with that species. The females and males just want to kill each other. It's just like the peach throats. They don't want to give each other a break. As soon as that introduction happens, they want it to go south. And usually it does for a lot of people. Everyone I've talked to, it's gone south at a pairing.
Now, what's gonna be your approach? Like, what do you feel like you're gonna do when it comes to that?
Well, with a lot of things that I pair, it sounds so simple, but I make sure they are full and very, very well fed beforehand. And the biggest thing to do with those that I'm going to do is a pass through. So they get used to each other beforehand. They get used to each other's smells, and it's not just like, boom, I'm in your area. And I would introduce the male to the female. Surprisingly, I usually do it the other way, but that's the biggest thing is they got to get used to each other. I think a lot of people kind of just like, here, go. And I'm not going to lie, I do that with stuff too, but with those you can't.
Well, it's like kind of going back to like pairing snakes. Like, I mean, you could, I think chemistry is something you'll see that is important with some pairings, but for the most part, you pair them and walk away. But that too with monitors, chemistry is even so important, and also too, like there's a time and place when to pair, right? Like
definitely,
like that time when Mac Dre and fucking Alice were going chest to chest, like that just was not the right time.
Your timing has to be on, and it's all visual. They don't really give you any signs besides what's going on visually.
No,
so if your timing's off, things could go really bad really fast.
And the room for error is just so like minimal. Like you're gonna like, you'll get lucky, but they will see how unlucky you can get too. Like it doesn't take much, like you said, for things to go south.
There's so many. I think that's where a lot of people, like, I don't want to say fail, but don't do good with breeding. There's so many steps beforehand before the even breeding happens, and then there's even more steps when she's laying. It's just like a never-ending thing. The only time I have a sigh of relief is when those eggs are in the incubator, because once I get them out of the enclosure, most of the time, if they're going in the incubator, they're going to hatch.
Bro, I don't mean to get off topic, but this is fucking epic right here.
I can't see it's loaded. Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, I see it now.
Dressed up as Uncle Mike.
Yeah, that was great.
That's iconic.
That was when I had John on. I think I caught John, but he didn't expect that.
All right, can we let's give props to Monitor Fest real quick.
Yeah, Monitor Fest is the best.
Did you go? You went last year?
Yep.
Awesome.
Get bigger and bigger every year, which is great. You got to get down there, MJ.
I know for sure. Man, I can't say for sure next May because I'm going to South Africa that month.
Are you?
Awesome. Dude. But I will say, man, I see the growth in Monitor Fest, and let's kind of get your take on how important you feel like it is to, like, if you want to be a part of this for the long run, what's your take on connecting to the community and going to something like Monitor Fest? How important do you feel like that is to everything, Nick?
I think it's almost everything. You learn a lot from these people, and just having that friendship is what this is all about. Besides the animals, it's about having friendship and about being able to talk to each other. Because, like I said, I came from a time where I think there was a lack in community, and especially with monitors, and there was a lot of confrontation and stuff like that. So it's so cool that we're able to do things like that now. And shout out to Waterloo for doing it, and Mike. It's a great time, and we don't see all these people. I mean, this is people from across the country coming. In that picture, I literally can name like 6 different states that people are all corners of the country that we're coming from and meeting for one time a year. It's awesome.
It's also like, think about how much like your brain goes to work being around these people when it comes to like ideas you didn't even know you had until you have a conversation with somebody at an event like this. It's crazy.
When I get to the hotel after Monitor Fest, my brain is racked. I just pass out. That's all you're doing is talking and running ideas past each other. But it's awesome. It makes me, for that 13-hour drive home, that's all I'm thinking about is what I can do when I get home.
I don't think people realize too how good it is for the soul to be around like-minded people like that. Like, you know, especially if you want to find out what else is out there for you in the hobby, well, go around fucking people like that. Go to a festival, go to a Trap Fest, go to Monitor Fest, go to a Tinley NARBC, go to a Reptile Super Show and see who you meet. And dude, if like, again, I wouldn't know who you were. I wouldn't know who Uncle Mike is, Brian Waterloo, all these amazing people if it wasn't for the hobby, dude.
Yeah.
But you need both. Like, you can't just do this without the people. Like, you got to fucking connect with the people, and you got to have a good name too. Like, people don't realize all it takes is maybe 1 or 2 really bad fucking blemishes on your name. And, you know, you could stick around, but guess what? Nobody's going to want to fuck with you.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah. And I know you say it all the time, and Uncle Mike does too. Besides the community, US ARC is freaking huge. You got to donate and do everything you can to try to help, because they've saved our butts so many times, especially recently with the tree monitors and earless. We would have lost both of those species in the community. So,
dude, and they're constantly working for us, which is another reason why, you know, to support your lobby like US ARC, man. Anyways, kind of going back to, you know, where I don't know, like one thing about you, Nick, you know, you're at a place where you're a part of an era that's going to be the huge future of this hobby. But I want to know where you feel like the growth is going to be in the monitor game in the next 5 years. Like, do you see it scaling up? Like, do you see it kind of being more of an interest in the hobby than it was? Because I feel like it's kind of dialed back a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like people like you you have an agenda with this, and I want to know what that is. You know,
my agenda was, I guess we'll start with like my agenda. Like, my agenda was kind of to take the mainstream out of it and not chase what everybody else was, and to really put focus on, because like, I don't want to say it's a skill, but I feel like it's a connection with these animals that not everybody has. And I was doing well with the waters, so I wanted to put my attention, because I feel like maybe I have a different look on it, and I wanted to put it on stuff that needed it, and stuff that that's not really readily available in captivity, stuff that hasn't been bred before. I really wanted to put a focus on it, because I don't want to see any of these monitors disappear. So that's really my agenda, is really to attack the things that maybe haven't had the chance, like spinulosis or any of those weird species that people aren't really paying attention to. That was like my focus. But I guess long term, I think monitors are in the uprising. I think a lot more breeding activity is happening. We're learning a lot more about these monitors than maybe even 5 years ago. I've seen a huge upswing in breeding in the last couple of years. Like, there's a lot more monitor breeders now than there was. And like I said, when I started, there was maybe like 1 or 2 that I could actually name.
So you're seeing definitely people popping up as far as who's even having success by the animals, is what you're saying.
Yeah. There's a lot of people having a lot of success now.
Now, you know, I feel like, not that any of it's easy, because you got to pay attention and you got to figure these animals out. I feel like you could get the eggs, right? But that next big step, incubation, is huge. That's where I failed. You know, like I said, I know why I failed at this point now that I saw what I had going on, but incubating a monitor egg is not a fucking walk in the park. You know, there's things that you got to make sure that are dialed in. But one of the things, obviously, is like, dude, I hope you have time on your hands, because like these things fucking take months. What's been
6 months minimum?
What's been the key to your incubation success when it comes to hatching out monitors? Let's get into that.
To be honest, out of the gate, it was pretty much, I just listened to the people before me. I got sim containers, which is like a no-brainer. I didn't try any vermiculite or any kind of crazy stuff. Incubator wise, I tried like the Exoterra kind of thing, those like gecko small ones that you buy. Terrible for monitors. There's no way you're going to hatch one in there. So within a week, I started seeing my eggs like deflating. So I went and I got a what is it, like a Pepsi fridge. on Facebook Marketplace, and I made my own. I actually watched Dave Kaufman's video on how to build an incubator, and it's just heat tape, a computer fan, and I still use that same incubator today. I have actually 3 of them now, but my main one is the first one I ever made and never failed me. I think the biggest thing with monitor incubation is you need to have those sims. And I think just like your cages, you don't want just your cage to be hot and humid. You need that whole area to be hot and humid to remain that same humidity inside of that enclosure. So in the egg boxes is hot and humid at 86 degrees. But my whole incubator is that same humidity because I leave open water tubs in my incubator. So like I don't lose a lot of fluctuation in the boxes.
Dude, that was exactly my biggest, one of my biggest key fixtures was the humidity, the ambient humidity in my incubator, because I was so focused on the egg box, but the outside was like 20, 30 humidity. It was so dry, and that's why I was getting those fucking issues. And until I was like, nah, I got my humidity to 75, 80 in there, dude, I had 100% hatch rate this year at a 70.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
Bro. You know what I mean? And we'll see what happens next year, but dude, the clutch before those 70 was 100%. So it's like once you find something that works, you don't fuck with it. Just leave it alone, dude.
It worked for me, and I have not changed a thing. It looks exactly as the day I set it up. I'm not going to change it. And the only thing I have changed is like I have a guru about to hatch right now, and the eggs feel like to the touch, which was when I first got eggs. I'm like, I'm not touching them until they hatch. I don't want to mess with them. But now I'll touch the egg and be like, oh, that feels a little too hard. So I put sphagnum moss around the egg to try. The sphagnum moss will help break down the egg because of the acidity. So that monitor, when it's about to hatch, will be able to pop out a lot faster. Because over the years, I've probably lost maybe like 5 hatchlings, which is not a lot for all the hatchlings, not to gloat, but all the hatchlings that we've had. So to only lose 5, and most of the time they drowned an egg. So I learned that, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? Why are they not hatching? But not everything in nature is meant to live either. So like you kind of got to weigh that in. But I think if I did that trick a little sooner, I probably would have saved a couple of those.
Yeah, that's one thing too. People kind of go down a spiral fucking, mental breakdown is they think it's them that they're fucking up, but sometimes the egg just isn't meant to be, and you just gotta wait till you get healthy eggs.
Yeah, that's something my dad taught me with, because my dad, he breeds mammals, birds, like he's done all kinds of crazy stuff, and he's like, some animals with breeding are just not meant to breed, and that was a huge game changer for me, for him to just remind me that every once in a while, because I'm like, this male's just not it. He's just not going to do it. And
there's a fucking big OG in the snake part of the world that we do. His name's Eugene Bissett. You ever heard of Eugene Bissett before?
No. So
he's fucking, the guy's a legend. And one of his quotes that he said on the show before is, not every tomato is meant to make it to the salad bar.
That's cool.
So, that's cool. And that's what it chalks down to. It's like, you can do everything right, but this is life. Like, this is like, bro, not everything even makes it in the wild, or and even humans. Like, there's things that just aren't here to make it. And so, and it's sad to see, especially when you wait so long, but it's like, kind of builds the character, chisels you to be the person you are.
Yeah. I had a female coming on that I raised for 3 years, and she was beautiful, but she just would not take to any male. And I'm like, you know what? You just weren't meant to breed. She would lay infertiles, but she wanted to kill every male I put with her. So could I have figured it out eventually? Because I had that problem with sulfurs too. And I paired them 7 times before they finally took. But it wasn't pretty. It was a pain in my butt. I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to put her through it. If she doesn't want to do it, I'll give her to somebody that's going to keep her as a pet. So
I mean, one of the paramonitors I let go of, they stopped breeding. Like, after, they were the ones that gave me clutches, and then when I moved them into this room, it all stopped. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And so I sold them. The person who got them, he just got a clutch from them. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, like, environment's everything. And again, like, I was more trying to accommodate the snakes versus the monitors, where they're probably just like, I'm not comfortable here. Like, I don't. Fucking go worry about your snakes. I'm not going to give you this. You know what I mean? And that's what's great about monitors, bro. If they're not happy, they won't breed. Like, you won't get shit. You'll just and dude, they make you work for it, which I respect. You know,
and I say it all the time. They tell you, if you, and I'm sure you know this with snakes. Like, if I were to open that snake enclosure and think I have enough room in between us, I'd probably get bit, because I just don't know how they move. Where like, if I know I would get nailed as soon as I opened it. But with the monitors, I know how they move, and I can communicate with them, and they'll talk to me without talking to me, and be like, oh, this is off, that's off. And it's literally just body language and eye dilations. That's all you're going off of.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny story. I was up at Nerd once, and John, John Ritchie, Big John Ritchie.
Yeah.
He works up there now, so I dropped him off, and he's a venomous guy, and I've never handled venomous. So he takes out this kaboom, he goes, just hold it for a picture. And I'm holding it, and I'm like, John, I don't know what this thing can do. I'm like, I get this thing out of my hand, I'm freaked out, and then he's trying to be like talk me through it and walk me through it, and I'm holding it like this, scared out of my mind, profusely sweating. And he's like, oh, they can double back too. I'm like, John, if you don't take this damn thing away from me.
I've never met such a gentle giant in my entire life. Like
Great
he's
guy.
He's like baby Huey, but but swole. Like he's not fat. He's swole as shit, but his mental, like he's such a kid. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that because I'm like, dude, like he just geeks out over shit. And but also he's somebody else where I'm like, dude, you're very comfortable with this shit.
Very comfortable.
Dude, and again, I salute those people. I don't hate on them.
It's so funny because he's such a big guy, but his passion is spiders. He's got like the littlest thing in the world. It's
guy, all right. I got a wrap up topic for you, and then I want to kind of give you an open floor, let you talk about whatever you like, anything on the top of your head. But obviously, we didn't talk too much about starting a podcast, which you're going on your 4th episode now. But overall, like what inspired you to start Monitor Brains, and why did you pick Uncle Mike, and what's the mission behind Monitor Brains?
Well, picking Uncle Mike was pretty easy. I think there's nobody in this hobby that has a kinder heart than Uncle Mike, and in the monitor game, I don't think there's anybody that knows more. Uncle Mike's been doing this forever, and he knows so much. Every time we talk every day. I talk to Uncle Mike probably a couple hours every day because I drive. Most of the time I transport the cars from my dealership. So I drive a lot, and we'll talk and just bounce ideas off each other. And the amount of time, every phone call I leave with something new. He's been doing it for so long. It's not like he just woke up yesterday and came up with this stuff. It's a lot of trial and error with him. And it's amazing to learn from somebody like that. So we started that podcast because, like I said, I talk to him every day. And I was like, I wish somebody could record these phone calls, because the stuff you tell me, the little things that I pick up on, it would be crazy, and other people need to hear this, not just me. So that's where the whole Monitor Brains came from. And Uncle Mike came up with the name, and I think it's an awesome name. Monitor Brains, people think it's like us and our brains, but it's how monitors act and react to everything. It's the monitor's brains. So we don't have anything planned. We do it recorded, and we do it recorded because this way we're not worried about anything else. We can just have a genuine conversation like we do on the phone. And I feel like we get a lot out. I love live podcasts, but I think for an informal information podcast, I think it's good just for us to be able to record it and edit it and make sure we're getting our points across, and be able to throw up pictures and all kinds of stuff in between so people are active with it. But with the whole podcast, it's like I said, I just want to help our community do better for these monitors, because it's not like not taking shots at any other groups in the hobby, but it's not a crested gecko. It's not cut and dry. There is so many steps to monitors. It's insane. And I couldn't even break it down for you in a 10-hour podcast. It's just, there's too much to learn with them. So if you follow us and watch all those episodes, I think you'll get a pretty good idea. And it makes Uncle Mike's and I job a little easier because we both answer a lot of people every day. And I could be like, here, go watch this video, and you'll have a pretty good idea on the topic.
So let me ask you this, man. Now that you have your own show, and Uncle Mike, man, like he does his best to avoid drama, and that's why I respect Uncle Mike.
Yep.
Me, I'll fucking take it on head first. Like
I'm like Uncle Mike.
Yeah,
I want to avoid it just because it's like, I don't know, man. You're not gonna change anybody's mind anyway. A lot of arguments, it gets nowhere. So it's like, I'll do me and what I do, and if you appreciate what I do and you want to listen, I'm always willing to help people that are willing to listen and willing to take help. But if you're a hard-headed, stern person, some people just need to and it sucks to say this, but some people need to figure it out themselves. And not like a car hobby or anything like we were talking about, where you figure it out and it's your mistake, you lose money on your car. These are lives that we have at stake. So it's hard to shy away from it sometimes, but I think sometimes it's for the best, because to have a confrontation with people is sometimes just not worth it.
especially the ones that don't want the solution, right?
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what I've learned a lot is like some of these people you might call out, they don't give a fuck about fixing it. They don't, that's not their intentions. And you really can't help people like that. But I also feel like it is our job to create awareness with certain things. And I wonder, like, where do we cross the line? Like, where's the line lay where it comes to like, all right, if we don't fucking tell people, this can affect them. You know what I mean? And mainly like it could be as far as like improper diet or keeping them the wrong way. Don't keep them in your fucking apartment building or something. It could be multiple things, but also like, again, it's not something that could just be talked about in 1 hour. Like a lot of these are deep dive topics. You know what I mean? But do you feel like there is a time and place where shit should get called out?
No, definitely. And I've done it, but it's like when you kind of like tell with somebody if they're going to listen to you or not, or they're just going to go irate and make it personal. And I just back out of those situations. I've had plenty of those situations that it's just like, I'm not going to get personal. You're never going to make me get that far. So I'll just step back. And unfortunately you have to learn by yourself, I've never been that way. So like, maybe I just don't fully understand it. Like I'm always willing to learn. But if I'm not going to make the same mistake twice either. So I think that's what people want, you to make the same mistake. But like, dude, I already made that mistake a long time ago. Like with the turkey, like I found out, or drumsticks, like I'm not going to go do that again.
Yeah, you know, and again, the whole personal thing is so important because at the end of the day, it's preference. And if you think whatever Nick or Uncle Mike is saying is not right, then do your fucking thing. Like, and let's see what happens. And like me, dude, like I owned on this show what happened when I fed fucking ground turkey. I told you guys the results. It wasn't good. So as long as you're open about it and you come clean that like, listen, this did not work for me. That's what it's all about, dude. And swallowing your pride and not fucking acting like you're Mr. Inventing the wheel in monitors where people like Uncle Mike's been doing this for 30, 40 fucking years. You know what I mean? But it's all about passing down information. And I think, again, one of the things that makes me so excited about what you and Uncle Mike are doing is the information you guys are going to be putting out there. And it's for the people to the viewers and listeners decide. You know what I mean? And do what's best for you. God bless. That's all.
I appreciate it, bro. It means a lot. And that's the thing is, like, you might watch the episode. We joke around. We're trying not to curse. Like, if you watch the last one or two, I've been bleeping out that because, like, I want it to be taken seriously. It's not about like who's listening, and I don't think any little kids watching, but you never know. But I want people to take us seriously.
Bro, if little kids watch this, they're definitely gonna be watching yours. But it's mainly because the parent they want to learn and their kids stick around. So I'm trying my best to pull back, but sometimes I that's good. I think it's good.
Dude, I do it all the time. I say it even with the little kid coming up. I'm like, it's gonna be very hard for me to control myself because we curse all the time. My wife and I. It's part of nature and it's part of what we do. So it's gonna be hard to pull back. But I guess this is a good practice for me to have a conversation with Mike and be able to not curse. But that's what the beep button's for. So for now, I'll just keep beeping.
For sure. Anything you want to kind of close with? Any closing statements? Anything you want to say, bro, before we kind of wrap things up tonight?
I guess to start is just there's no need for drama. We're all here to do the same thing. We're all here to help each other. This is a community, like we've said many times. So let's keep it that way. We've evolved from gatekeeping and drama and internet keyboard warriors. Let's talk it out like men and women and get on somebody's podcast, have a debate. Let's talk about all these things. It's going to further this community, and these animals are going to do better.
Dude, totally. Pick up the phone. If you got a problem with somebody, pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Usually that's what's funny with all that stuff is like on the internet, you'll text back and forth like, oh, I hate this person, blah, blah, blah. You pick up a phone, and normally you guys have very similar situations, and you end up laughing and hanging up, and it's a totally different conversation. Then friends at the end of a phone call. I've done it so many times. 9 out of 10, that's the situation. It's always been for me. I run into them in person. It's not like that. They call, we get on the phone. It's not like that. Nope.
It's something that either people are having a bad day or they get caught into this fucking negative comment community fucking thread where it's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, why are you joining that mess? And honestly, if you want that in your life, then fucking go be in the comments. But guess what? Anyone serious in this is not in the comments. I'll say that right now. Anyone who's having success in this fucking hobby and is taking this serious, they're not in the comments. Newsflash. Okay, so if you're in the comments, go look in the mirror. Do you want to be that person? Oh God.
Anybody that's in the comments has too much time because
God damn, go get dude. Go find another hobby, please, because you got way too much time on your hands, dude. But God damn, what a great episode. I got hot seat questions for you, okay, before I let you go. So
yeah, of course. Appreciate
everyone in the chats. Let's get the likes up. We're gonna end this in trap talk fashion. Hot seat questions for the homie Nick. Nick, the way these work, the faster the better. Just rapid fire, all right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Coming in hot. Let's go. First thing you would feed a baby monitor.
Quail or crickets.
Okay. Egg cut or no cut a monitor egg? Would you ever cut an egg or never cut an egg?
You can cut an egg in the right occasion. I try not to.
On what day? Well, like what day would it be necessary to cut an egg?
It depends on the species, but most like water monitor species are 180 is kind of like anything over that you're getting pretty long. I think at like 190 I would start maybe cutting eggs, but it depends because I mean you have Mertens and stuff like that. They go 250, or I think Uncle Mike had one go 297. So every monitor species is different.
Number one underworked monitor in the hobby.
Oof. In my opinion, spinulosus. And people are missing out with that one.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay.
What would be one monitor you would import to your collection today if you could? Any monitor species?
Nucallis. That's my favorite one.
To spray or mist a monitor or to never spray and mist a monitor?
We spray every day.
Yay sports or boo sports?
Sports?
Yeah.
Yes. I played like everyone.
What's your favorite sport?
My favorite was I played soccer.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Are you still a fan of soccer?
I don't watch anything besides UFC. That's one I wish I got into.
Perfect. Okay, UFC. All right. Who's your favorite UFC fighter?
I'm gonna be biased. The Irishman.
Oh yeah,
Conor McGregor.
I mean, who's more excited than McGregor, bro? You know what I mean?
Yeah. My whole family's from Ireland, so.
Okay, there you go, bro. You got to go with the Irish fan.
Yeah.
Big flexor or no flexor?
Oof, that's probably my biggest struggle in life. I'd say no flexor over big flexor.
But if it came to your collection, you're
if I I'd flex a little bit.
Oh my God. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
Filet mignon.
Nice. Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
In my past, yay. Now, not so much.
Wow. Okay. Right. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
West Coast.
Favorite West Coast rapper or rap group of all time?
Oh man, I'm gonna be basic here and say Tupac.
Nice. Respect. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Little word association. Just say the first thing that come to mind. Milk.
Cookies.
Stuck shed.
Pull it off.
Least favorite monitor species.
Oh, that's rough. God, that's really rough. People are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to say Aki.
Number one monitor species.
Nucallis, hands down.
Number one beginner monitor species.
For me, it was coming out. I think that's a great beginner species. Like it's an in-between species that you could work with and kind of learn the ropes.
All right, almost done. Morph market.
Yay.
Last but not least, coolest reptile network. They didn't say podcast, network in the world.
Trap talk all day. I told you that the first time I met you.
No, for reals, man. This has been an awesome fucking time. Again, been a huge fan of you ever since I met you, and especially seeing all the work that you've put into the hobby. Family guy. You're the complete package, man. And I gotta say, very inspiring episode. If people want to just reach out to you, where can people hit you up? Drop all your plugs right now.
Unlimited Exotics on everything. Instagram, Facebook. They're the best ones to hit me up at. And MJ, I got to say it. I said I would to my wife before I got in here. I've been a huge fan for a really long time. And I kind of just was waiting in the background. I said one day I will get on Trap Talk. And I just kind of patiently waited my turn. And I really appreciate it, bro.
Well, I appreciate me revisiting it's been a long time since I've had a monitor guy on. The last person was Uncle Mike, which is like a go-to all the time. But man, like this gets me excited to bring more monitor keepers back on, because huge part of what we do in the hobby, monitors are the best, bro. Like man, if it wasn't a space thing for me, I would have more monitors than I would snakes. I probably would, because nothing makes you so much more appreciated keeping a reptile when you have a monitor in front of you, bro. They fucking know who you are. They know when you're in the room, and dude, it's a next level experience. So
Yep.
Yeah. Thank
There's
you,
nothing
Nick.
like it for me. Thank you, bro.
Man. And also, man, keep killing it as a father, bro. You're fucking that's what makes me respect everything that you do, is what fatherhood means to you.
You too, bro.
I mean?
Yep.
So can't wait, man. Guys, find all the link to Element Exotics Pets in the description below. This won't be his only time. He'll be back, but give it up. It's wrap for Nick, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace out, guys. Thank you very much.
Great job tonight, man. Have a good night. Thank you, Nick.
Yep, you too. Bye.
All right, appreciate it. Good episode, guys. Appreciate everyone who tapped in. Refreshing episode for sure to get to talk about monitors. It's been a long time. But again, this live will be taken down and available on Patreon only. So if you don't want to miss this live, or if you're coming late, come join the Patreon. And then this will be put out in video format the following Thursday. Okay. So again, appreciate all the love and support. Find all the sponsors in links in the description below. Enjoy your weekend. And again, don't forget, last week's Thursday is now out on video format. That is D's Balls and Exotics. We're talking about berms and all that great stuff. And yeah, man, appreciate all the love and support. Don't forget, Monday through Sunday, 7 days, brand new episodes out of the Trap Talk Reptile Network. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, it's Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Cheers. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Broms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website, see what he has available Green Tree Python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 Green Tree Python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the Green Tree Python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the Green Tree Python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. Cheers.